information from objects. If somebody's held something a lot, or used something, or worn something, it's going to soak up the vibe anyway. It's a great way to get a feel of a property you're going to. It's like the first clues.
Mia studies some of the Stevens' most treasured belongings to get information about the family. 2 objects are of particular interest to her.
The ring. Looks like an engagement ring. The woman that wears this has been very stressed and worried. It's the first slight negative we're getting. Now the crucifix, it's been blessed. It's got its own energy field around it, and I see a bed, so it's in a bedroom. It's to protect. It's very strong, and the fact that that's here sends my alarm bells ringing, because they must be feeling very vulnerable. They've obviously tried a number of things to feel safe again. My sense from these objects is that the family are very loving, but being splintered apart by something they can't see, and they've tried different ways of trying to sort it out. It's not been happening. I'm very interested in seeing what's going on in this house.
Psychic Mia Dolan claims that just 20% of the people who contact her about hauntings genuinely have a ghost in their homes. But having examined the Stevens' possessions, she's now convinced that their fears are for real. Psychics and clairvoyants believe that they have a sensitivity that enables them to pick up on the good and the bad in any home. So what will Mia and the team find in this house? According to some believers, it's not unusual for spirits to want investigators out and to do whatever it takes to get them out.
What will Mia uncover when she finally visits the house?
Did you move it?
I've not touched it.
Oh, you're all right. Really? I've just seen someone in the door.
Scared and at their wits' end, Bob and Shelley Stevens are convinced that their home is being haunted by a malicious female ghost. They've nicknamed her Mabel in an attempt to avoid upsetting their children any more than they are already. That's obviously a difficult job. They are desperate to get rid of whatever it is that's haunting their home. So is it a genuine ghost or just a figment of the family's imagination? Well, our investigation team will spend the next 48 hours finding out.
Mia has been driven to the Stevens house. She has no knowledge of its location or of the Stevens themselves. In the psychometry, the crucifix led Mia to understand that there'd been a previous exorcism in the house, which means she's sure that she's got something tricky on her hands.
It's a very strange feeling of like pulling out and coming back. Like there's a vacuum situation going on. Like 2 things trying to be in the same space. This must be the living room. Recently, changes have been made. Somebody doesn't like these changes. Something doesn't like what's being done. It's a great sense of ownership, a battle of ownership. It's always interesting on the stairs, because as you go upstairs, you start to feel the energies change in a house. Either it gets better or it gets worse. And it gets worse as we go upstairs. This is, odd. That breathless feeling. The window, this is where somebody's been seen looking out the window, standing by the window, looking back at the bed.
Without prior knowledge, Mia has found the spot where the family claimed the ghost stood.
Okay. The girl's bedroom, very bright, cheerful. Breathe very well. It's a feeling. I keep wondering if this place has ever had a fire in it. It's very much that feeling when panic, smoke, can't breathe. And I can hear screaming. The strongest feeling after looking around the house is that 2 separate realities are trying to sit in the same place and they're fighting against each other. The reality of now and a long time ago.
Mia is accompanied by our very own paranormal investigator, Mark Webb.
People do believe that when a spirit is present, you will get a drop in temperature. I've had these on numerous occasions in numerous locations. There's no real scientific explanation as to why this occurs.
Skeptic Chris French, professor of paranormal psychology, will look for a rational explanation.
If there was any possibility of some kind of genuine paranormal activity, then I really want to be in there, I want to witness it, I want to be able to say that I've seen that with my own eyes. But I must admit, I'm not really expecting that to happen.
Mark and Chris arrive to tour the house. Bob shows them what's been going on downstairs.
That light switch, for about 8-9 months, it just kept blowing.
It'd be worth sticking some EMF meters in there, see what we get.
The EMF meter will tell Mark whether the problem with the switch is electrical or paranormal. Upstairs, Shelley is waiting to show them where the apparition is said to have appeared.
This is obviously mine and Bob's room. What happened in here was I woke up in the middle of the night and visualised there was a figure stood in front of my drawers there. Just an outline of Mabel.
Just an outline? No details? Just...
No, I could just see an outline of a face and of a body just stood in front of my chest of drawers.
Now that all the experts have toured the house, it's time for Mia, our psychic, to meet the family. First of all, she talks through the results of the psychometry.
Yeah. Crucifix. Powerful crucifix. Powerful, been blessed. When I was walking around here, it was a religious feeling. It was like, I don't know, priests been here, or it's a real strong religious feeling. And that crucifix works have been done on it.
We've had a padre in here.
Yeah.
He's done a blessing, which settled things down for a little while.
Mia correctly picked up that a priest had already blessed the house. Now it's time for her to reveal her findings.
Coming up the stairs, my heart started to race. That's always a sign of things are getting stronger. As I got to the landing, that was the worst place for me. As if something was wrong. The whole structure of the house was wrong, and I didn't know why it was wrong. Then I went into your room, and somebody's been there looking out the window. When I say somebody, I mean ghost. And the bottom of your bed has to have been activity. Went across to your daughter's room, and I had a bad feeling. I did hear screaming, and smoke, smells, burning. As I came out of there, it was like there must have been a fire. Tell me why the house feels different at the top of the stairs. Why does it feel off balance?
Because there's a doorway here. And I think that the stairs originally went that way.
I think you've got a situation here where some spirit, energy person that has lived before in this property is trying to keep it theirs and does not like what you've done to the property. We've awoken it, if you like, with the renovations, and now we've got to try and get rid of it.
Mia's findings support the family's story.
I feel concerned because the previous couple before us weren't happy. Maybe she doesn't want anybody being here.
It's now reinforced that what I have felt is true, and there's something else in this house, and I don't feel right now. I don't feel right at all.
Every room I go to, there's something there, there's some feeling, there's some movement. So tonight, we'll be hunting for it rather than sitting and waiting for it.
One house, 3 experts and 1 terrified family. Now armed with the evidence and testimony of the Stevens family, our experts are ready to stage a vigil. Held during the dead of night, it should provide ideal conditions to establish whether or not there's paranormal activity.